You're listening to Getting Real with Real Estate with Danielle Kempf and Jim Kempf, St. Louis's favorite father-daughter real estate team. With honest advice, local insights, and stories from the real world of real estate. Because smart real estate decisions start with real conversations.
All right, are we rolling?
We are on.
Outstanding.
Rocking and rolling.
Welcome to another episode of Getting Real with Real Estate.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, this is...
one of our last ones for 2025.
Oh, now you just dated us. You always tell me I can't date us when we're like doing
But
things.
this is a 2025 recap. So we need to say we're doing this at the end of 2025.
Right. This is one of our
Right.
favorite. These are kind of our, I don't know, they're kind of fun.
They're fun.
We're going to go over what we, what we
Predicted.
like predictions
Yeah.
for last year and kind of what we thought and what the experts thought and see who was closest.
Yeah, so if you're an avid listener, this time last year, so December 2024,
Yeah.
we did two podcasts. We did our 2024 recap and we
Right.
did our predictions for 2025.
Right.
And we had our swags,
Yeah,
which is...
Which I didn't know I said a bad word last year,
He
apparently.
got beeped out.
I got bleeped.
But
I
what
can't
is it?
believe
It's
that.
a-
It's a scientific wild guess. It's a swag. I
It's
used
a
to be an
swag.
engineer. Sometimes you got to swag things
Yeah,
a little bit.
swag a little bit.
So
So we're
that's
gonna
we're
go
gonna-
back. Like
when-
Jim said, I went through. I got our notes of all of our predictions, and we're gonna see how well we did. If we should have bought some lottery tickets this year and had a good crystal ball, or if we didn't have such a great crystal ball.
Right. But we're going to keep it clean.
We're gonna keep
This
it
is
clean
a-
this year.
This is a family-friendly show. Don't you ever forget it.
Because we're a father-daughter real estate team.
But before we
St.
get
Louis's
started,
favorite.
St. Louis's favorite, yes. But before we start, like any other podcast, we
gotta
gotta
have
have
a
a joke.
joke.
So take it away,
Take it
Danielle.
away. All right. So it's winter. St. Louis winters can get pretty cold.
There you
so
go,
what
dating us
is
again.
Again, it's December 2025.
And it's raining today.
It's raining, not snowing.
Okay,
yeah.
go for it. Sorry.
But anyway, what is a good winter tip? Maybe one of the better winter tips.
A good winter tip. Go to Florida.
Well, I mean,
It's my tip.
you're gonna, yeah.
What-
We're both
what's-
gonna go to Florida.
What's the real answer?
The real answer is never catch snowflakes on your tongue until all the birds have flown south for the winter. So as the birds are flying to Florida,
That's gross.
keep your mouth shut.
Says the bird owner.
And I keep my mouth shut too.
Oh, Lord help me. Okay, well, that's good advice. So I hope everybody...
I mean, I have another piece of winter advice, but I
Just-
think everybody already knows that one.
Yeah, about yellow snow?
No, yeah, it is.
Okay, all right.
We digress. All right,
let's
so
get to it. What
let's
was
get
our?
to
What
it.
was our? Okay, and
Number-
how we're gonna do this? We're gonna talk about. We're gonna
gonna
say
s-
what our this category, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we're gonna say what our swag was, and then we're gonna talk about what actually happened.
Yep.
Cool.
And so I'm going to go over our swag, our guests, and I'm also going to have our national numbers for 2025, what actually happened.
Okay.
And then Jim has what actually happened in St. Louis, our regional
Kind of
numbers.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Good. All right.
But the first one is mortgage rates.
Mortgage rates,
And
yeah,
mortgage rates
yeah.
are the same national as they are locally.
Pretty much.
So the experts at the end of 2024,
Yeah.
most of them range between 6% to 6.3%.
So that's what they thought rates would
That's
be
what they thought.
now.
Yes, at the end of
Okay.
25, that's what they were expecting. Redfin was a little
Wait.
bit.
I thought you said you were gonna say what ours guess
No,
was
I'm not
first.
there yet. Redfin was a little high in that. They were expecting rates to end about 6.8%.
Ooh, good thing they were wrong.
Good, exactly. So as a team, we decided 6.5% was the number.
That was our average.
That
You
was-
said 6 to 7.
I
that
put
was your
LOL.
guess? Oh my
I
God.
put an LOL after it.
Who are you, Zillow?
Yeah, pretty much.
Pardon.
But no, I said 6.5. You
Okay.
said they'd stay stable, may go higher depending
Okay.
on a couple factors nationally.
Okay,
But as
yeah.
a team, we decided
6.5?
6.5. We locked our answer in.
Lock. Okay. So we were pretty close.
We were pretty close, yeah. So
Current
what
rates?
actually happened? So current rates, they've averaged this year about 6.22%. January, we kind of know that they were the highest. They were about closer to 6.9% starting the year off.
Oh, you're right.
But December 2025 averaged about 6.2%. So we were a little high,
We were a little high,
on that,
yeah.
but I'd rather be a little
rather-
high and have
yeah.
our clients be happy at when they talk with the lender.
Yeah, lower rates the better for us. Right?
Yeah.
That's great. Okay. I'm glad to be wrong on that one.
Yeah, so 6.25 is
So
pretty
we were
darn
pretty.
good.
Yeah, I mean that was a pretty
We were
good
a
swag.
guess. Yeah.
Not bad. Okay.
And
All right.
then
And we're not going to tell you what our swags for this coming 26 are. We're going to do another
that's
show
going to be a
about
next
that.
podcast.
So
So stay tuned for
stay tuned for that one.
Yeah, especially if you're thinking about buying or selling next year, stay tuned for the next podcast.
For sure. All right. What was our next category?
All right, so the next one was the Fed cuts.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
Everybody loves talking about the Fed cuts.
Yeah.
So the National Association of Realtors in 2024 predicted there would be 4 cuts for 2025.
Okay.
Jim locked in for us on that one. He said 4 cuts
I
too,
said
1
4.
per quarter.
Okay. Yeah.
And then how many did we actually have?
We actually had 3. There were actually 3, and they just cut in November. Mm-hmm. So there could be one more, and that'll be, I think,
Within
right?
the next
would be
15 days.
well, that would have to be next. Ooh, I don't
It'd
know
have to be
about
next week. That's
but
Christmas week.
Yeah, it could be Wednesday. I don't know. I don't think there'll be one. I don't think anybody thinks there'll be one.
So we'll probably end the year at 3 cuts.
So 3 cuts, and we
have
said,
one-
what did we say? 4?
We said 4.
We said 4. So okay.
But what happened the last
fine.
time in November?
Well,
what
that's a
happened
good
in
question.
November when they cut rates? When
well,
the Fed cut, I should say.
Actually, the last 2 cuts,
Oh, the last 2.
So the day of the last 2 cuts, mortgage rates actually went up just a little bit. The first one, the one in September, that was already baked in. Everybody, the markets, right? They try to predict all this stuff anyway, so they already baked in that cut, and they cut a quarter point. Some people were thinking back then it would be a half point,
I remember that.
but they did a quarter, which was pretty much reasonable and expected. And then that same day, mortgage rates went up 0.2 of a point. So that was like a complete wash for mortgage rates. But again, remember, mortgage rates and the Fed
Aren't 1-to-1.
number don't mean anything, right? The mortgage rates track the 10-year Treasury and not the federal funds rate. So
That's more for like your credit card interest rate.
yeah, so you save a little money on your credit card and any adjustable rate loans and stuff. You'll save a little money, which is a good thing, obviously, but didn't necessarily help mortgage rates. So.
No. And then I didn't get well, we're not doing our 26 predictions. Cause
Right.
I didn't get numbers for what we're expected. Or
Yeah,
what
we'll
our
talk about
swag
that
for
next time.
year.
Yeah,
I'll
we'll
have
talk
some
about that next time. Yeah, right.
Okay.
All right, cool. Well, so
So
we were
that's-
pretty close there again.
I would
right?
say we're pretty close. We're on track.
We could have used another cut, but maybe. I don't know.
But again, if mortgage rates ticked up after the last 2,
Yeah, I mean, it's so, okay. I'm
anyway.
with you.
Again, it depends on what you're looking at. If you want the interest rates to go down, if you want your credit card rates to go down.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so what's next?
So our next topic is going to be that home price growth.
Home price growth. Okay.
So nationally,
Nationally, yeah.
and our experts had a range. Again, it's a bit of a range, but for anywhere from 1.5% all the way up to 4%, home prices are going to grow that much.
That's what they said for
That's what the
25.
experts said. Correct.
Okay, what did we say?
We thought they were a little high, especially that 4%.
Yeah.
I was the higher of the two of us. I said a 3% growth
Okay.
nationally.
Okay.
You said 2 to 2.25%,
Okay.
same as inflation.
Okay, yeah. So what did they end up doing? Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, my little notebook. Oh, no.
Technical difficulty here, but while we find that,
Oh, there we go. Okay. So nationally, they were about even with what happened in 2024. So 2025, 2024, right about the same. Redfin said that prices went up 0.7% November 24 to November 25.
okay. And what you got?
And the U.S. Fed House Price Index,
Right.
a little
Oh,
bit
yeah.
of mouthful there.
Yeah.
They were up 2.2% from third quarter 2024 to third quarter 2025.
Okay, so 2.2.
So
that's
1 to
pretty close to
2%.
that's pretty close to what Jimbo said about where
Yeah.
they grow, right?
You did. I was a little high, but you were
pretty
right
good.
on.
Okay, so in St. Louis, in our market,
And what part of St. Louis are we talking here?
our multiple listing service area, so the Mid-America Regional Information Systems area, which is going to include St. Louis City, County, St. Charles, Jefferson County, parts of Franklin. I don't know,
I think
maybe a
that's
little more
about
than
it.
that. So it probably spreads out a little farther than
A
that.
little
but
further west.
give or take. It's the St. Louis area, not including any Illinois though. We don't go into Illinois.
No.
So I'll talk 2 numbers. I'll stick with the average number. So
Okay.
the 12-month average number for November of 24 was 299,903, and in November of 25 that 12-month number went up to 325,361. So that's an 8.5% growth, which is pretty high on. That's an average number, right? So it's an
Okay.
average of all the sales. the median sale price, which the median, again, if you just rank all the sales from high to low, it's the number in the middle, right? It went from 245 to 260, which is also that's still a 6% growth.
Yeah.
So in our market, numbers went up a little bit more. Keep in mind, St. Louis is a lot more affordable than than national.
Agreed.
Right.
Yep.
So that's kind of one thing that's to our benefit. And the Midwest, I think if you look, the Midwest regions of the kind of the region of the country stayed more stable to grew versus like some of the other areas of the
coast.
country.
Yeah. So like
So
this
good.
year, we've heard a lot of, and especially the news outlets too. And I'm going to get a little off track here. Prices are dropping. Home prices are slashing. Again, that's national, and that's why I like that we're doing national versus St. Louis numbers because there is a difference.
Huge difference.
We're a little bit more. We have that buffer from the coast, so we have a little, we're a bit more stable, like you said. And so a 6%, what was it, 6% increase?
6% increase on the median sale
the
price.
median.
Which, that's still kind of high, though.
And that's
really.
what happened between 23 and 24.
Right.
We had 6.7% increase on the median home price. So
Yeah.
we're still a growing market here in St. Louis.
Yeah, that's still a little. Yeah, I mean,
That's high. That was higher than what either of us guessed. We
Right.
guessed 3 to 3.5%.
Right. So
So-
that's up for sure.
Yeah.
Kind of almost too high, but good news for homeowners. Right?
Exactly. Good
Still
news
a
for
challenge if you're
homeowners.
looking to buy next year, though. So
Yeah.
okay,
All right. So that was our.
so we'll probably
So now we're on to inventory.
inventory. Okay,
Inventory, right?
national inventory. Okay.
National inventory.
Yeah.
So last year, the experts were expecting our inventory to go up right about 12%, 11.7%. But also a lot of those were going to be for the new construction. The new construction nationally was going to be a lot higher for the new home construction sales or just inventory versus existing home inventory, which we talked about this back when we did the podcast in 2024. That makes sense nationally. Even here in St. Louis, you just got to keep looking further west to find those communities
Oh,
that have
for
the
sure.
more new construction.
Yeah,
Think
yeah.
like St. Peter's, Wentzville area, a lot more new construction out that way versus St. Louis City, just because there's not
room.
many more. Yeah, there's no room
Yeah. All right.
anymore.
Okay.
So
All right.
inventory, that was what we had expected. Nationally, what actually happened was right about there, late 24. Oh, I don't know why I put late 24.
That's okay.
Anyway, they were expecting 10 to 12% increase. Actually, what happened was a pretty flat
Pretty fun. Okay.
increase of inventory.
So in the St. Louis area, I'll kind of touch on two numbers, I guess. The number of homes for sale, that's probably the most important number.
Yep.
So in November of 24, we had 11,362, and in November of 25, 10,944. So actually, inventory went down 3.7%, a little bit here in the St. Louis area. The new listings, if you looked at like the number of new listings that happened in the 12 months up until November of 24, was just under 54,000, and then the 12 months up until November of 25 was about a little over 55,000. So that number was up 3.8%. So a little bit more on the new listings, but the total inventory for sale went down 3.7% is what the number showing Maris. Yeah. So that number was down a
So
little bit.
inventory
Did we have
was
a guess
down
on that?
3.7%.
So we had down 3.7%.
Our
So
guess was that inventory,
we
and
were
this was your
saying
guess,
up.
up was 5 to 8%,
Yeah.
which was
okay.
a little hopeful, I think. I mean, I think we're all hoping that. We need more
Missed.
inventory,
We do need more inventory, but it is what it is.
is what it is.
That's kind of
That's okay.
all right.
All right, so moving on. So let's go to month supply real quick. Month supply and days on market, I'll kind of.
Yeah, kind of
Separate but combined.
Yeah.
So what was projected from the experts was our month supply to be about 3.7 to 4.1 month supply. So that's
for the national.
That's
for
national.
Okay.
So that's more of a getting closer to a balanced market. We always say that a month supply is how much inventory is on the market. A balanced market is that 4 to 5 months supply. Lower than 4 is more so a seller's market. Anything higher than that's a buyer's market.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Okay.
Well, like higher than 6 is a buyer's market.
Oh, that for sure. 6
Yeah.
would be way, yeah. Okay. And so what did they say? 4 point what?
About 4 months supply.
4 months supply.
is
So
what they projected. And I didn't get national numbers, so we'll just rely on you for the St. Louis.
well, in St. Louis we were pretty flat. So month supply November 24 through November 25, 2.7. So flat at 2.7 month supply homes.
Oh, actually, we did have some St. Louis. Well, we had our predictions for St. Louis about 2.1.
Yeah. We said 2.1. Okay.
If
Yeah.
I'm reading my notes right.
Okay. So it turned out flat. So that's 2.7 is still, I would call that still pretty much a seller's market. That's that number's up, I think. I mean, it feels up, but the market has slowed down a little bit, I think, just volume wise. But
Yeah.
but 2.7 month supply, that's what we're looking at right now.
That's what
We've
we're
got
looking
a listing or two in some areas. Actually, the last few listings that we've looked at have all been kind of in that kind of range. 2.8 was one of them we looked at up in Florissant, and
Yeah.
I think another one
St.
up
Anne
in
was
St. Anne
closer
was a little higher
3
than
to
that,
4.
closer to 3. I think that one ended up being so
Maybe a little
2.7. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So then days on market, how long is it usually taken for houses to get under contract? We had projected 30 days. That stayed right about the same. Nationally, Zillow said 29 days.
Okay. And-
So what's happening here in St. Louis?
Well, it actually from November to November. Well, we went from 40 days on market in November of 24 to 43 November of 25. So that's a 7.5% increase. But that's only 3 days. But that's still 40 days, so more than a month.
More than a month.
If you look at the full year up until November of 24 and the full year up until November of 25, you go from 41 to 47. So that's a 14 and a roughly half increase in number of days. Again, it's only 6 days, so I mean that's not like the end of
It's
the world.
less than a week.
But it still
It's still
shows
higher
you.
than nationally.
Yeah, it
which is
shows-
kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Why do you think that might be? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, honestly. That's a good question. I'm
Well,
not
maybe
sure.
we'd find out for the next podcast.
Yeah, maybe so. We'll give you our take on that.
Our 2 cents. It might be 4 if you combine the two of us.
Yeah, 2 plus 2.
All right, so that was our days on market. So now we're going to go to annual sales volume.
Okay.
So what was projected by the experts for national? Have a couple of different ways of this. So they ranged from, call it 4 million sales to 4.5 million sales.
We'll put that into perspective. So the 2 years before, so 20, 23, and 24
These are 24.
came in at...
Oh, no, these are our projections.
both came in at like 4 million. Both of those years came in at
Yes.
like 4 million. So they said, like NAR, for example, predicted 4.5 million sales
for
in 2025, right?
And that would be up 9% for existing homes and up 11% for new construction.
Yeah, so that was pretty aggressive. And what really happened?
What really happened?
They stayed pretty flat.
They
is
stayed
what
pretty
did.
flat, yeah. Just kind of like what we just talked about
I think
for our
it
sales
might.
volume.
I think it might land at 4.1 million, right? Something like that. Do you have that number?
I don't have what we're going to land at.
Okay. But it was
Tomorrow's
tracking,
when they release our
Right.
November numbers.
Well, that's okay. But
Yeah.
the last numbers I saw, it was tracking for
389. So right about 400.
it was tracking for just a hair over 4 million.
Million,
so
sorry.
essentially a flat market the last 3 years in a row at national. That again, national numbers. So when we look at St. Louis closed sales, the 12 months preceding November of 24 was 43,020. The 12 months preceding November of 25 was 43,188. So, we're a month short there. We don't have the full year, of course, but that's 0.4% increase, which is, again, pretty flat, which is pretty much coincides dead on with really what the national numbers have done. So, and then we'll talk about predictions on another
Next time.
day, but we're hoping to see that, obviously.
Yeah, we're hoping next year's going to
Increase, but pretty flat market the
pretty
last
flat this year.
really 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
And those numbers, if I'm not mistaken,
are down.
are the lowest they've been since 1995.
Was it 95?
So-
I think you're right.
Put that in your cap.
That was before I was born.
before. Yes, it was. That's right. Yeah, it's a long time ago.
Long time
Pre-COVID, I think we were up around 5 million. So that's a big difference,
That
right?
is.
2017 or 18 was like 5 million. So in perspective, there, the market is off
We're
quite a
still
bit. That's
slow.
20%. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
20% off. So, okay,
All
right on.
So one of the things we talked about was that sale prices have gone up.
Yeah.
And so how does that affect our buyers' affordability? We were hoping affordability would get a bit better for 2025. It kind of has. So the FRED, which is the Federal Economic... No, hold on.
F doesn't stand for economic.
No, I was
Federal
thinking
Reserve
Federal
Economic
Reserve
Data. FRED.
I had the
Fred is the name of my computer too, by the way. Fred.
What?
Yeah. I named him Fred.
I did not know that.
But I can't tell you what Fred stands for because this is family show.
Great. Okay, so
Hey, just saying. His name's Fred.
his name is Fred. You'll have to tell me that off camera. So the Fred. So affordability. So on a measure of 100, 100 is the exact median income and a family needs to qualify for a median priced home.
Right.
Anything over 100, the family has more earnings than needed. Anything under 100 is, you're net negative.
Okay.
And so, in
yeah.
October of 2025, it was the highest at 106.2. So again, that means the family had more earnings or like income.
Had less
No,
income
more.
than
Over 100 is good. We've debated this off too.
Okay. Oh, you're right. I'm sorry.
am right.
I'm wrong. Yeah.
Ha.
Right. Okay. So
and then-
106. So that's a good number.
And that was in October, so that's a good number.
Okay.
June was the lowest number at 95.1.
Right. So in June of 25, a median family income could not afford a median priced house.
Yes,
right?
nationally.
Nationally. Mm-hmm. So right. So that just tells you why it would be good for rates to go down a little bit, right?
And it would,
Obviously.
and I think that also just shows that like the summer months are usually one of our busier months. There's a lot more competition, more people looking. I don't know if that has anything
Well,
to do
prices
with the
go
numbers.
up then too. Typically, yeah, right. That makes
because
sense.
there's more people looking. It's supply
More
and demand.
competition, yeah.
And then once October and the holidays start hitting it,
Yep.
you can get a little bit more of a deal maybe.
Yeah, I think too that wage growth has improved a little bit. I'm pretty sure if you look that, and I have not looked it up, but I'm pretty sure in the numbers that I've kind of been listening to, the news I've been listening to, wage growth has gone up a little bit, so that helps a little in that end. Like the average first-time home buyer, folks, is 40 years old now. I think is the number.
Yeah.
Right. So that's really, really.
It's getting higher.
It's really out there, kind of. So we hope that gets better especially for our first-time home buyers.
peoples.
It's a
Yeah.
struggle still.
But so what about those people, those first-time home buyers that we're talking about, who they're just kind of waiting? They're still renting right now. They're waiting for that affordability to get a little bit better. What's happening with the rental projections?
Yeah. Can I make a guess?
Go for it.
Because I didn't really look at those numbers you did, but
I
I
did.
think, and I think I said last year that there'd be a little bit more pressure on rentals maybe, and prices would come down just a hair. Is that
Yep.
what I said?
You
I
did,
think I
because we were talking about all like the new big like apartment buildings, like the
Yeah,
ones
all
off
over the
Olive.
place. At least
off
in St.
170.
Louis, are all
Yeah.
over. You see them all over the place. Yeah. So what happened?
Well, you tell me. You're the one with tenants. What happened to your rents? I'm one of his tenants, by the way.
Well, yours didn't go up for sure, but
It didn't go down.
No,
that's what happened
No,
nationally.
the ones that I have are pretty flat. I mean, like one, I have one property that I'm way kind of under my rental amount, market rent, so I have inched that one up a little. But for the most part, I keep them pretty. But I believe, I think there's more and more going to be more and more pressure on rents for. Like folks like myself who have a couple rental houses or whatever.
The more mom and pop.
The more mom and pop stuff. I believe so. I mean, because at least in our area, we see it everywhere from, they're squeezing. They built some down at Tower Grove South. They got some coming on down in
They're all
Bevo.
over now.
They got them everywhere. Is a new apartment complex. So I got to think that there's going to be, and some of those are kind of high end luxury stuff
They are.
that I don't know, man. I just personally,
to each their own. Who
to
lives
each their
there
own.
or-
But man, I just don't see putting that much money into an
A
apartment
rental.
that you don't own. But anyway, that's to people can do.
But
what they
again,
wanna
it's
do.
for people want to be in the location.
I-
Anyway,
yeah, so
nationally,
what
rents
did
are
it do?
down 1%.
They are down. Okay.
They averaged
Yeah.
just everything from a studio, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, whatever, average rents.
Just average.
Yep, 1,367, which is down $16 per month year over year.
I'll be darned.
So,
Okay.
right, again, like what we've been seeing, everything's just been pretty flat this year.
And you got a note here says St. Louis. Did
Oh, I
that
do,
go
yeah.
up a little bit in St. Louis?
Yeah, so actually
that
in
says I
St.
should raise your rent.
No.
I'll leave that to you guys. Everybody anybody that watches the show, if you want to comment, should I raise the rent yes or should I raise the rent no? And then we'll see what happens.
But anyway, so apartment lists. So I have a couple, as I was finding my stats, I just kept ones that really focus on St. Louis.
Okay.
So apartment list, St. Louis ranks as the number 5 in metros with the fastest year-over-year rent changes.
Wow.
And that was up 4.3%. According to
Okay.
apartment list. So according to them, rents in St. Louis have gone up 4.3%. And maybe it is because of the luxury ones.
Could
because
be.
the new builds,
Could
they're
just
luxury.
be the dollar amount is
Yeah.
higher. That could be. I mean, I don't know.
We don't really.
I think there's going to be more competition there, and I just think it's going to start getting some pressure on rent prices. But that's just me.
You heard it here
I might not-
first. We'll let you
I
know
may
next
be-
year.
Oh, that could be one of my predictions for next. Yeah,
We're
right
going
on.
to do the same. All right. And then my other 2 ones, which I just thought were like really cool because, born and raised in St. Louis, both of us, St. Louis is kind of, never a top market or a metro, I don't feel. But 2 websites, one of them Redfin, they list St. Louis as the number 3 in top 10 U.S. metros with the fastest growing sale price. And that was up 20.5% for 2025 versus 2024. And then NAR, the National Association of Realtors, also lists St. Louis as the number 7 in 10 largest markets with biggest year-over-year median price increases, 7.9. So quite a range. We have our median price increase and our fastest growing price increase there. But St. Louis is becoming one of the top markets. So that's going to be one of the things when we talk about on our next podcast.
Well, we're an
is-
affordable market for sure.
We are, and we're a growing affordable market.
Yeah. Okay.
But one of the things we're going to talk about is kind of that cost of waiting. So if you're a first-time home buyer, if you have that rent that's either maybe staying the same or
yeah.
maybe going up, and you're on the fence about buying for 2026, one of the things we're going to talk about is why not to wait around for
That's a
either
good idea.
rates to drop or just
Right.
but unless it's like a personal reason, But if it's you're waiting for rates to drop or it's just not the right time for you, we're gonna hopefully give you a couple.
I'm not going to buy till rates go to 3% again.
It's gonna be like that one, little line that's like you're gonna wait the next 40 years to ever
You'll
buy.
never buy another house.
If we get to 3%, there's a lot more issues going on, but that can be a whole other podcast there. So,
All right, well, good.
These were our predictions. I think overall we did
all right.
I think we were maybe a little high on some parts, but for the most part,
We guessed a little high on the sales, I think.
yeah, I think we were
like
hoping
everybody.
a little bit more, but there's always next year.
All right. Well, stay tuned for
Our 2026
predictions. That should be fun.
It'll be a good one.
All right. I guess we'll sign off from there. If you guys have any questions about the stuff we talked about or if we can help you getting ready to buy or sell a house, feel free to reach out on our socials or
So, just reach out to us.
yep, we're here all the
All
time.
right. Have
Half
a
day every
happy
day.
end of 2025. We'll see you all in 2026.
See you later.
That's it for this episode of Getting Real with Real Estate. We hope you learned something new, had a laugh, and feel a little more confident in your real estate journey. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at The Kempf Team for local insights, listings, and a real look at what it's like behind the scenes in real estate. Have questions or a topic you want us to cover? Reach out anytime at 314-336-1926. And don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or YouTube so you never miss an episode.